Hey guys, Sugar John coming at you with another Awaken Chaos Era video. So today's video, what we're going to be talking about is what is the difference between a dungeon farmer and a campaign farmer, void tower support, and or an endless trial character. Alrighty, so I'm sure most of you have kind of figured out by now that there are a lot of characters in this game, and there's a lot of characters that you can really get a little caught up on and think, okay, I need to build this character to clear certain content. And where I wouldn't disagree with that, because you are going to need to have a good diverse portfolio of characters. One thing I will disagree with is people seem to kind of confuse the idea of where they're going to use this character and at what priority level they decide to like put them in to upgrade them, so to speak. The reason why I bring this up is because, for example, farming in the campaign, it's almost a must. You have to do this to get your glyphs. You kind of do this a lot to get your first initial gear before you get into dungeons. You also do this a lot to get your jelly, okay? So you really need to like be cognizant of, okay, I have to farm the adventure. Who am I going to use and what am I going to use to be able to do this? So this is where we're going to talk about this. Now, for example, the team I have pulled up right here, this is kind of a quick, fast, mythic farming team. Now, the reason why I say that is because there is a little bit of synergy here. You know, you have Nathalia, you have Hacker, and you have Valeria. And the way it's set up, Valeria will almost always have, Nathalia will always have a buff on, so she does an AoE. Valeria is always an AoE, right, other than her A1. And they knock down the waves very quickly. These are the two main ones that I use really for clearing a lot of the mythic campaigns. Sometimes I'll take Hacker out, and actually Blackhorn, to be honest with you. And every now and then I'll throw in my Zatlux in here, and then I'll throw in the Jacob. And the reason why I do that is just so that way Zatlux will proc and Jacob can kind of go in there with him and do a little bit of joint attack as well for the last wave. But that doesn't make Jacob a fast campaign farmer. That does not mean that you invest resources in him to be a campaign farmer. That's what I mean about this, is you need to really look at your character's kits to figure out, okay, well, what do they do and where am I going to use them at? Because you don't want to go around and build all these extra characters that you don't necessarily need. So, for example, I know one character that a lot of people will build, and I know they build them and they use them in campaign a lot, is going to be like Celestial Cain, okay? He's not a character that I would label as a campaign farmer, so to speak, mainly because his abilities don't really alleviate to being a fast campaign farmer. He is definitely a turn-based defensive support unit that definitely thrives in like PvP content. He's also very good in the Void Tower. But this is not a character that you need to label as a campaign farmer. And the reason why I'm really bringing this home is because no different than the video that you guys watched that was me talking about, you know, the most important 60s or the must-have 60s in the game. This also goes into a play where there's a lot of champions where people are building that they don't need to build because they don't understand like what they need to be prioritizing. Okay. Once I get to a certain point where I have all the characters built for the Void Tower, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to build a lot of these extra characters just to kind of test them and play with them. But until I get to that point, guys, I'm not building a lot of these. Notice a lot of these characters are not built. If we go up here to the characters that are built here, they're not there. I am trying to do my best at prioritizing this. A couple of characters that I built on my account that I really didn't need to were actually characters like Azrina. I built an Azrina. I really did not need to build her. She serves no purpose on my account right now. I used her for a strategy, and I was very upset because I wasted a lot of resources to get her to 60. I got her glyphs all the way up. I wasted a lot of time. I thought she was going to be viable in dungeons. I thought she was going to be a great dungeon farmer. It turns out she was not a great dungeon farmer with the team I was using, and it was just a waste of resources. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you need to really identify who are you going to use to farm Mythic. What I suggest is that you take characters that are AoE damage dealers, such as Valeria. Imogen is a good AoE damage dealer. Nathalia can be a damage dealer that's AoE, given the right circumstance. Highly recommend having her. Arak is an amazing damage dealer for Mythic, mainly because if you play the elements correctly and you make him crit, there's a good chance that he's going to do an AoE damage attack, kind of like the splash attack. Another great one to have for campaign farming is obviously Zatlux. If he gets a kill, it resets his ultimate ability. He just cycles through everything. That's going to be an amazing character for you to have for doing mythic campaign farming, as well as like characters like Tia. Now, Tia is one of those where she's not going to be a super fast campaign farmer, but what's going to happen is she's going to stun or she's going to freeze everybody, and depending on what gear you have her on, she can stun everybody as well. And then you're going to use her again when you get to Void Tower. So that's why characters like this that are kind of like well, they're not going to be super fast for me to do, they're going to be more prevalent, and you upgrading them because they have the AoE abilities to farm mythic, and you're going to use them later down the road. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I hate to see it when you guys, upgrade characters that you really don't need to. Like, for example, my Elson. Elson is a good character, but it would seem like it'd be a big waste for me to upgrade just this one character all the way to 60 because I was using him in my Tulpa team. That was the only place he was going to use. So was it really smart of me to take him any much further than 50? Not really. He did his job at 50 and I left him there, kind of preserving some of my resources. Now, another character that I don't really use that I know a lot of people do use is like Yolanda. I personally don't have any purpose for Yolanda other than arena, and I'm not an arena character, not an arena grinder. So she definitely would not fall underneath the campaign farmer or the dungeon farmer category. So I'm going to just leave her alone. I'm not going to build her until I have all my teams sorted out. But by focusing on, what is your arena or what is your dungeon farmer and what is your campaign farmer, it kind of allows you to really focus and hone all your resources in. Because everyone, I get so many messages about, hey, what should I do? Who should I do for this? And I ask them, like, well, do you watch my YouTube videos? And, do you look things up? And they're like, well, I try to. And there's a lot of information out there. But no, like, I guess I get excited because other people say to do this. And that's fine. People are going to advise people to do whatever they want. No different than I'm advising you to, pay attention more to who you're upgrading, to make sure you're upgrading characters that are only within like 2 categories. So that way you can really focus and progress your accounts faster, because it takes a long time to hit this in-game content, guys. Like, I'm just down to Void Tower. I've whaled out about $1,000 so far. I'm at Void Tower 40 hard right now. And actually, if you're watching this, I'm going to be live on Twitch here in about 2 hours. We're going to go push some more Void Tower hard content. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. But this is it for the in-game content. This is it. Well, notice I'm just now branching out. I have only very few champions really purposely built. And all these guys really serve a purpose. They're either a guild boss character or they are a dungeon campaign farmer. The one character I do kind of regret building is Balbareth. He does have some purpose, but I no longer utilize him. I built him a little too early, and I wish I wouldn't have. I wasted a lot of resources. Zitlin, I've also learned that I kind of phased out Zitlin because I was able to figure out better comps for the guild boss, but he's still an amazing character. Definitely don't need to write him off. But if following my own advice, I would have had 260s right here that I would not have upgraded because they don't follow underneath my campaign and or my dungeon farming. And you know what that would allow me to do? It would allow me to go and get characters. Hold on 1 second. Let's go find it. It'd allow me to get, like, for example, my Marion Shadowblood. She's going to be somebody that I could use kind of a little bit everywhere because she's going to play in a joint attack team as well as in a couple of dungeons and the Void Tower. This would be a very good character that I could have saved those resources that I use on them and had her at 60 right now. Another character that I could have also really built and would have been super, super helpful for me, and it's going to help. I'm going to have to build it, unfortunately, would be characters such as Borden here, and Borden is going to be very helpful in my Void Tower comp because he just gets to go super fast, and that's the benefit of him. Plus, if you get you nuke someone down, he comes in and does more damage. I am not a fan of this guy. He really bugs me. I think it's that fat pirate appearance. I can't deal with it. It's like, reminds me of clowns. Can't do clowns. They scare the crap out of me. I think that's why I don't like Borden, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But I could have saved those resources and used those resources for this character because I don't need those other characters for my dungeons and for my my campaign farming. So that would have saved me, the 260s. Well, now I'm getting into in-game Void Tower content. Now I got to build more characters. Well, did I need to build those other ones? I didn't, because I'm not going to use them anymore. And that's the biggest thing that I'm kind of bringing up here and wanting to point out is you need to really be mindful of what teams you're going to be using. A lot of people want to just jump the gun and say, hey, this character is good. They're going to look at the tier list and they'll say, hey, this is a high number in the tier list, and I'm going to go ahead and build him because so-and-so's tier list says he's S tier, or my tier list with Chosen says he's a 10 out of 10. So I'm going to just build him. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to build them. That just means we like their kits. that doesn't necessarily mean that they serve a major purpose, and that's why they're ranked as a 10 or they're ranked as a double SS. All right, so now that we've kind of covered a little bit as to what I did wrong on my account, I'm sure you're probably looking at your account, and it is what it is. Everybody will make mistakes, and that's okay that everyone makes mistakes. It's really to be expected. Everybody's human, and that's what you're gonna do. But one thing I want to bring up very quickly, and we're just gonna make this super fast, is we're gonna kind of point out a few characters that are gonna be characters that you're gonna use in dungeons and in campaign farming. And I'm going to say what they are and who they are, and that way you can kind of go and you can prioritize building those characters. So first off, William, you're going to want to build him. He's going to be used in campaign farming. He's also used in dungeon farming. Okay. Connor's going to be used in campaign farming. He's not really going to be used in dungeon farming. Moving on, we have Hector. Hector will be used in dungeon farming. Arak will be used in dungeon farming and campaign farming. Valeria's AoE damage dealer, you're going to use her mostly just in the campaign at first. She's going to be Void Tower support as well. Next, moving on, you're going to have Marion Shadowblood. She's going to be used in campaign as well as in dungeons. Then we have our girl Santis. Everyone should know Santis. She's definitely used in dungeon fights, or not dungeons, yeah, dungeon fights. She can be used in the campaign, but not necessarily has to be used that way. Gangello is another one. He's going to be an amazing character. He's going to be used mostly in dungeons. He will do campaign damage for you, but he's not going to do it super fast. The last one is going to be Sierra. Sierra is a massive damage dealer. You're going to use her in dungeons as well as campaign farming, depending on who you have, because her A2 here is going to do a lot of damage. Also, you have Desmond. Even though it doesn't seem like it, Desmond is a very strong character now after his buffs. You're going to use him both in dungeons and campaign farming for quick farming. All right, next we have is going to be Blackhorn. Blackhorn's going to be used in a lot of comps in both dungeons and campaign. He's going to be a major support unit for you, major healer. Cyrus is one of those who is also very, very good for dungeon farming. She can be a little good for campaign farming, but for the most part, she's just a single target character, so she's not going to be that impactful as far as your campaign goes. Let's see here. Another one that we have on this list is going to be Winstrix. Winstrix is going to be very, very helpful for your campaign farming, and that's because of this ability right here where you have speed up, puts attack up. You make her go the fastest. She puts 2 of those buffs on, so that way everyone does a lot more damage. Next, we have Brand. Brand's going to be an amazing character that you're going to use in a lot of content, whether it's going to be dungeon Void Tower or campaign farming. What he's going to be really known for is going to be the shield, as well as his ultimate that it's the defense up 2 and the attack up 2. The next one is going to be Brand the Brilliant, also known for not his ultimate definitely helps, but his passive ability here where he does a lot of damage off of this, as well as most of his attacks do a crap load of damage to the enemy. Next one we're going to mention is going to be Ricard. Ricard is going to be one of those that you're going to use for your campaign farming, and you're going to use him up until up to chapter 7, chapter 8 in the Mythic campaign, and that's because his A3 ability here is going to do true damage based on this character's HP. So when you stack him with super high HP, you don't need to stack him with any crit rate or any crit damage. He's going to do true damage equal to 80% of this character's max health to all enemies. This also gets higher when you add extra HP from said characters like Hakron. All right, moving on. Another one is going to be Hakron. Hakron's going to be a very common one that you're going to use. It's going to be considered a dungeon character and not so much a campaign character unless you are doing like Mythic 10. When doing Mythic 10, you will want the extra little defense boost and the HP boost sometimes because it is hard to clear those boss waves super fast. Moving on, another character you're going to want to focus on is going to be Avera. Avera is an AoE damage dealer. She's going to be a campaign farmer, and that's about it. I don't think she's really viable in a lot of dungeons, but she is super impactful for clearing the campaign and farming, as well as when you get to Void Tower, she's also going to be super powerful to have in there. Imogen is going to be one who's going to be used for only the campaign and Void Tower and List Trials. She's going to have a lot of versatility, but she's not going to be used in dungeons. Tia is an amazing character that is going to be used a lot all over the place in different content, mostly where you can see characters, but she's going to very, very much shine in the campaign area and Void Tower. Nathalia is going to be considered a both dungeon damage dealer and a campaign damage dealer, and that's because of her AoE possible abilities if you have enough buffs on her. Next is going to be Borden. Borden is going to be basically a finish it off in the campaign mode. That's what he's going to be there for, and that's because when you get an enemy down to 50%, he will do his ultimate ability, essentially. His ultimate ability is going to do 200% damage. Damage scales with the amount of health lost by the enemy. They've already lost half of their health, so his damage is going to scale super high. That's why he's there. He's literally there to clean up the mess. All right, the last page of characters that I really talk about that are going to be considered notable for the content that we're referencing. Savannah is one of those where she does a crap load of single target damage. She's not going to be really that good for you, though, unfortunately, in the campaign mode. The reason why we're talking about her is because she's not going to be good in the campaign and or the dungeon mode, but she's going to be one of those characters you can create. So I definitely want you to know, like, hey, you don't want to synthesize her to use her in either of these genres because it's not going to work well for you. Hydricia is definitely a S tier for doing campaign farming and progression. She's not going to be very viable in your dungeons. She's going to basically fall off once you hit higher tier mythic, but then she's going to come right back when you get into the Void Tower. Last but not least, we're going to talk about is Zatlux. Now, Zatlux is super impactful to your account because once he gets a kill, it resets his ultimate. He constantly goes. He only requires 7% crit rate to be crit capped. Amazing character, but he's going to be one of them that is both a campaign farmer as well as a dungeon farmer. That is going to do it for all the characters as a brief overview. There is a few other characters that could kind of work in this world, but the ones I mentioned are going to be the main ones that you're going to really take to heart, I hope. And I hope that really shines a little bit of a light on this. Now, keep in mind, I didn't mention any guild boss teams. So guild boss is going to be totally different level. And actually, here very soon, we're going to be talking about guild boss. So now that I'm starting to build some more champions, I'm starting to figure out more of what I can do for guild boss. And we're going to talk about it in some upcoming videos for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment, like down below. Hopefully this helped you understand a little bit more of who's a campaign farmer and who is a dungeon farmer, what characters you want to prioritize getting, and yeah, that way you don't waste any resources. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.